Hi everyone. Recently I posted a video about 19 years in business, and this is kind of the follow-up to that video. When I put that video out there, I had some of my really close friends. I have a group of women in a book group with me who are just the most amazing people. I'm just so grateful to have them in my life. They're amazing. But anyway, we have this group chat and they were putting comments about that video. About, oh, Nadine, congratulations for doing that 19 years and 7 books and all this kind of stuff. And someone else wrote, so I never counted you out for a minute, or something to that effect. And just really like helping to celebrate that accomplishment, which I so deeply appreciated. And I ended up posting to them, and of course, thank you. And I also said to them, that's also been 19 years of having imposter syndrome. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is where you say to yourself, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. What makes you think you can do this? And it's that voice in your head that is just self-doubt, self-doubt, self-doubt. And I for sure had that like my entire life. So to hear those comments, I really do deeply appreciate it, because I, have gone through this over the last almost 20 years of kind of that level of self-doubt. And I think sometimes when we are kids, you might have, where you came from, where you grew up, maybe the messages you were given by people when you were growing up, they have an impact on you, and it can be lasting. And so for me, I grew up in a little teeny tiny town in upstate New York in the Adirondacks called Keysville, New York. And there's maybe 2,000 people in Keysville, New York. When I grew up on the road I grew up on, there were no sidewalks, no streetlights. We lived in the middle of an apple orchard. And at that time, there were more horses than people in population on my road. And my road was long and hilly, and it was just a most beautiful countryside. There's a picture of my road. There's a picture of my house. And behind my house was a garage that we actually called it the Alamo. It looked like a castle. It was pretty cool. Everyone thought we had antique cars in there because my dad was a car dealer. We didn't. It was a bunch of junk that was in there. But anyway, it was actually a woodworking shop from my dad. But that's where I grew up. So there's a part of me that's like, I'm this little country bumpkin from upstate New York. And who are you to think that you can build a business, build a second business, write a book, write a second book? Who are you to do that, right? Like that's kind of what I thought, all these years. And I did have more than one person give me negative messages about not being good enough, not ever being good enough my whole life. I've had, if it wasn't one person, it was another giving me those messages. And I got to a point where I said, you know what? I don't want to listen to that anymore. I will take whatever feedback is given to me, and I will say, all right, well, maybe that's something I can do to improve myself. And if it is something I can improve myself with, I will do that. If it's just mean, or it's just petty, or it's competitive, I don't know why people feel like they're in business too. They have to compete with me. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm just doing my own thing. But there are people who do that. And I just, at this point in my life, I'm just like, I'm not going to listen to that anymore. I am not going to accept and absorb in those comments. So if you have had that, if you've had any negative messages, whether it was your parents, your siblings, friends, neighbors, what forces in your life gave you those negative messages, join us for Building Adult Friendships. I'm going to absolutely help you do what I was able to finally do. It took me a long time. Finally be able to say, I'm not taking that in. I'm not absorbing in those negative comments from other people. I'm just going to live my life as authentically as I can, as true as to who I really am, try to help people as best I can, and that's it. I'm not listening to what other people say. I'm not taking their negative opinions and their put down, those comments that put me down, and let them live inside me any longer. We're done. So join me in Building Adult Friendships, and let's just silence those voices together.